This episode of Lawyers Tell All is brought to you by Law Firm Conversions. If your law firm's phone is ringing, that only means your marketing is successful. It's what happens when the phone is answered that will drive your success or failure. Visit www.intakeacademy.com and claim your free copy of Chris Mullen's groundbreaking book for lawyers and law firms that gets every call converting to become a profitable client, showing you the steps you need to take to ensure the right person is answering the phone and answering it correctly. Welcome to the Lawyers Tell All podcast, where Chris Mullins, the preeminent sales and communications consultant in the legal industry, shows you how it looks through lawyers' eyes. Here, innovators in the trenches provide powerful insights that help you connect with new clients, handle the sometimes harsh realities of the legal profession, and embrace the mindsets needed to succeed. Be sure to visit our website at www.lawyerstellall.com. And while you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, lean in, tune in, and let's take a deep dive.
Hello, everyone. It's Chris Mullins with Lawyers Tell All, and today I am going to be interviewing attorney Sunnita Blount.
Hi, how are you? I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, so go ahead. Just tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I am Sunnita Blount, like was stated, and I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. I have a sports entertainment and business practice, solo practice that I run myself with the help of my team. And I have been doing this for almost 7 years now. And it is something that I love. It is something that is hard, but it wouldn't be work if it wasn't hard. And I appreciate the fact that my clients are always appreciative and that they see the value in what I give them. And so I am here to discuss any and all things law. Well, the law that I can explain because I tell people I tend to stay in my lane. So if it's not something that I do, which is nothing criminal, then I really don't have an answer, or I'll pass you along to somebody else. But yeah, I am happy to be here, and I'm always happy to discuss what I do and how I help others and how I could be of resource to anyone else.
Awesome. Super. Okay, so let's see. I'm looking at my notes here. Sports, entertainment, and business attorney. What is that?
Okay, so sports business. So first, I'll just break all three down. So business is quite simple. I practice business law. So that's basically me doing anything from business formation to business consulting to contracts for your business. I try to make sure everyone who, especially those that are small businesses or new entrepreneurs, I try to make sure that they understand that although you might have a great product, whether it's a service or you have an actual product, that you also are legally compliant. So some people don't, simple things like getting an EIN or having or knowing which structure to form their business under, whether it's an LLC or a corporation, or just doing things like having the right employment contracts for their employees, whether they're a 1099 employee or they're actually W-2 employees. So things like that. And I've run into also issues with my clients where they'll have the business with someone else and they don't have the proper agreements. And then that's a whole other story.
Yeah, that's a whole
right. It's a whole other topic for another day. But, so things like that is what I tend to do when I help business owners. And I'm really try to help minority business owners because I know that they don't have as much access to the law or to the things they need to build their business as others may have. Then there's sports law. Some attorneys are sports agents. I'm not a sports agent, but I do sports law in the sense that I do NIL, which is name, image, and likeness for college athletes, and then in some states, high school and elementary school athletes as well. Also, that means I help with their sponsorship agreements, IP, their branding, things like that, their contracts. So it differs from being a sports agent because you have to be actually an agent with each league in order to actually assist them with their player contracts.
Mhm.
That's something that I'm thinking about, but I haven't quite decided, if I really want to do that. But I'm happy with what I do now because I work with trainers and college students, and it's a lot of parents, obviously, that I work with NIL. And entertainment, basically, so all three of these things kind of work together. That's why I do them all, because entertainment is kind of the same thing. I work on sponsorship, employment contracts, producer contracts, IP, trademark and copyright, branding, wage disputes, things where people have issues, consumer issues, where someone might owe them something, or they might owe someone else something. Also, a little note thing that I do too that a lot of lawyers don't do is I do post-collection judgment. So I don't do litigation. All those things I named are strictly transactional, meaning I refuse to go in the courtroom unless I absolutely have to. Have I done litigation? Yes. Can I litigate? Yes. Do I want to do it? No.
Okay.
That is a separate beast, and I appreciate my friends and colleagues that do it, because it is a whole separate beast than transactional, which is paperwork. So I do but I do post collection judgment, and that fits into my firm because a lot of the situations that come to me are people who are either owed money or owe money to someone. And post collection judgment is something a lot of attorneys don't do, because you have to go back in, and then once that judge gives you that piece of paper that says, yeah, you won your court judgment, it's in your favor. Now, how do you collect the money?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I go in and do that too, which is something that a lot of people don't do, but that fits in with my practice because a lot of people, like I said, come to me with issues of not being paid.
Yeah. Hang on, let me just get this off here. So you get the sports, the entertainment. How did you get into that? How did that happen?
So when I went to school, I actually took elective classes. So when we went to law school, of course, we have the core classes like any other profession. And then once you get up in years, you can then elect to do certain things that you have an interest in. So some people might do more trial classes because they know they want to litigate. I did more contractual classes or copyright classes, because those are basically the elements of sports and entertainment, is knowing how to help somebody if they feel like somebody is infringing on their trademark, or if they feel like somebody is using their likeness without their permission, or help someone license out their likeness, things like that. So then I also had teachers that taught specific classes while I was there that helped me, and I interned with them. And then when I got out of school, I positioned myself to be in I'm still am in various organizations that focus on sports and entertainment. And I also do things like this, and I speak, to students, and I speak with colleagues and stuff like that. But it was something that I was really interested in because I saw that a lot of people were getting themselves into situations that they wouldn't have been in if they would have had the proper counsel.
Okay. So so the students, and with the sponsorships, for like practically a brand new career because of everything they're going to be involved in.
Mm-hmm.
When you counsel the students, are you counseling also to the students that are not quite ready for that level, but we know that they're going to probably get there. So you're educating them on, here's the things you want to think about now. Here's the things that you want to do now. If you're thinking about getting to this level, anything like that.
Yeah, well, it's really, so although it's the students, we all know
Parents, yeah.
The kids, right. I'm about to say the kids, it's really the parents, yeah.
Yeah,
the kids are there, but are they really listening? Probably not.
Yeah, right.
So I mostly speak with the parents, and I let them
know. I was just going to say it's probably a little bit more challenging to wrangle in the parents than it is the students.
Yeah, well, the students are what bring it to their parents because they're like, oh, my mom, they or dad, they, I want to do NIL because they see they're on social media and they see their friends doing it and they know what it's about. So then the parents come to me like, well, what is this? And how do my kid get involved? And I'm like, well, it's not as easy as you think because just like you stated, that's a whole nother career. So I try to tell the kids, you already have school because that's your number one priority. Then you have your extracurricular activities. Then you have the fact that you're just a child, or a teenager or a college student, and you want to do things that people do at those age brackets. So when you take this on, though, it's like adding another full-time thing to your already busy schedule, because I'm sure you go to school, then you go to baseball or basketball or soccer or whatever it is, your parents have you in, and then tutoring and school events and stuff like that. Same thing with high school students, same thing with college students, so I tell them it's something you can do. And although we know that it's basically a popularity contest, because the bigger the school, the bigger the name, the bigger the check that they're offering these students, to advertise for Ford or Under Armour or something like that. So I tell them, although it does work that way, you can do things to build your social media up and get, branding deals. You just have to put in the effort and that time. However, do you want to, and are you willing to do that? Because it is another full-time.
Yeah. Okay. And it's a lot to prepare the students.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And what sets your firm apart from all the rest?
So my friend, one of my close friends who also does my marketing, always says to people, Sunnita is going to make sure that you focus on your talent, your brand, and she's going to handle the rest and making sure the best thing that you have is legally protected, which is your assets and your creativity. So that's why I've named my firm is Creative EsquiHER, because, well, one, I'm a woman, two, a lawyer, and three, creative is because basically everyone I work with is some type of creative, whether they are an influencer, athlete, a fitness instructor, whether they have a cake business. They do something where they need to ensure that they can focus on that particular product or service, and I'm going to handle everything on the back end. And so I tell people, when you come to me, you get personable service. I'm going to do everything in my power to work with you financially, because that's one of the biggest things, that people really don't get lawyers, because they're like, I just can't afford it, or, or that's out of my budget, or I have to spend most of my money on building my business. And I understand, because I'm a business owner. So I tell people I completely get everything. So I try to make sure that the value is there, but I work with people financially. And on top of that, I'm going to make sure that we go through a checklist to ensure that you have everything. Even if you think you've already done it, I'm going to still make sure and still inquire to make sure there's nothing that we're leaving out. Because like I said, a lot of people come to me after the fact because they didn't do something that they should have done in the very beginning. And then that, I tell people, that means you're going to have to pay me more, because now we have to go in and fix the problem. So I think that's what sets me apart from other practices.
Oh, let me ask you this question. We probably weren't expecting this question. So I was just thinking when you were talking, is how do you feel like you do with helping people to realize you are the authority and therefore your fee is what your fee is, versus people, asking you to lower it? Can you help me out? That kind of thing.
That's actually a good question. When I was a starting attorney, and I have plenty of mentors, and obviously my teachers, and obviously my friends and my other colleagues, I used to always, I don't want to say go back and forth, but I would always have this thing where I was empathizing with people. And so I tend to then be like, oh, well, dang, you don't have all of it, but maybe, if you have this, and my mentors were like, no, you have to stop that, because just like they have bills, you have bills. Just like you went to school and they went to school, you have loans to pay back. You have to take care of yourself as well. And you have a business too to run. So you have to stop doing that. So I had to learn quickly.
Yeah.
My fee is my fee. Unfortunately, if you can't afford it, I can refer you to someone else. But I cannot compromise or negotiate or, bargain, because I do pro bono through certain organizations, but that's through certain organizations that I'm affiliated with. When I'm actually talking to someone who was referred to me to my firm, you have to pay. And I think, I don't know what it is, but it's so many people that I've run into, whether online or in person, that have a thing with paying lawyers. I don't know if it's like, well, they think, well, you a lawyer, you already got enough money. I don't know what like the stigma is, but it's always an issue when you say your fee. And I tell people, what's funny is my fee is actually more affordable than a lot of attorneys I know.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I had to learn that quickly, and I had to learn you can be empathetic, but you also have to take care of yourself too. And that's just going to, in the end, make you more stressed, because now you're doing all this work and you're not getting paid what it's worth.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's more about just being the authority. I think that when you command what your fee is and you stick with it, then I think people respect you more. And the people that can't afford you, they probably weren't the right clients for you to begin with, which means not because, hey, there's something wrong with them, but more like you probably couldn't help them for what they really wanted, because it didn't fit for what you're really good at. And so it would be better to be known as the attorney in the industry that you deal with, so sports and entertainment and business, that actually is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So people want you, and some people can't, but your reputation is people want you. And so those people that get you, it's like they're branding you at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's funny is I've noticed when I did do that, when I did, lower my price, or my prices weren't what they are now, those are the most difficult clients.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And so that's what I had to learn too. As soon as, someone has an issue with money, I have to just end it right there, because I've been down that road before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, probably just I would imagine, like, just kind of take a look at the kind of clients that you're attracting. And if you're still getting, a good amount of people that are not really able to afford what you can do, then maybe just take a look at all the steps that are leading up to them calling you. Like what's the link that has to be pulled out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would probably suggest that. But the other question I wanted to ask you is, let's see. Oh, can you just give me one difficult client situation that you had to encounter?
Sure. This is one of my favorite client stories, and he doesn't mind when I tell it because he tells it himself. But I had a client. He came to me. It was probably around COVID, but so around 2020. And he was, referred, because a lot of my business comes through referrals, whether it's colleagues, whether it's Facebook, whether it's, Instagram, or word of mouth from other clients. So he came to me, and this was when I did do litigation. And he had already been sued. So he was the defendant. And he had been sued by someone who was supposed to be, as we all know, a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So that friend or family member, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Get that a lot. And so he came to me, and, the friend was suing him because he felt like he helped him build his brand. And so he should pay him or pay him most of the profits.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't recall the exact amount, but the amount was somewhere almost in the six figures.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time and it took about maybe a year, maybe a little bit over a year.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we finished, going back and forth, doing mediation, doing all these things, I think he ended up only owing or paying only, because I told him the way he structured his business and the way he communicated with the person, he would have to pay him something. So I'm always upfront with my clients, whether they're defendant, plaintiff, or whether it's a non-litigation matter. I always, in whatever side they're on, party they're on, I'm always upfront with them when I say, well, when you send me the information, I read it, I'm going to let you know this is your best bet, or you're going to have to pay something. So I did tell him he was going to have to pay him something by the way the conversations went and the documents and evidence that the guy submitted. So we ended up getting it down from almost 6 figures, and that's including like attorney's fees, court fees, all that. So I think about $20,000. And I considered it a difficult situation because my client was so adamant that he did not, communicate with him, or he did not make him think that they were partners. And when they started submitting a discovery, I said, let me call you really quick. I'm holding the text messages and the social media posts. I also talk to my clients about social media too, in my hand. And you basically have called him your partner. And in Georgia, you don't need a contract to form a partnership agreement, a written contract. An oral contract is fine if you have proof. And so I said, this is his proof. He was like, but he asked me for something or sent some note, but I never signed it. I said, it doesn't matter. You called him your business partner.
Yeah.
So there'll be no reason for us to go to court on this because, one, when I tell people when you go to court, because I do pre-lit, which means that I'm do everything in my power, even if it's mediation or negotiation, arbitration, for you not to go to court. When you go to court, you leave it up to a judge or a jury. At least in pre-litigation, you have more control over the situation. And it's also more cost effective. So I told him, you should really think about this. And I'm going to try to negotiate the lowest amount I can from what they're asking for. But you're going to have to pay something. And I suggest you not go to court. So he, it took a while and a lot of convincing because, it's people's business and their brand and their money. Yeah, so I get it.
I get it.
I get it.
Yeah.
So it took a while, but he eventually, gave in and we settled the case. But he's still one of my clients to this day, but that was a difficult situation. And sometimes it also becomes difficult when, as a woman, you're dealing with male clients, or even when you're dealing with male opposing counsel. You tend to, as you were speaking earlier about, authority in your fees, you tend to have to also have this authority in your knowledge and when you're speaking to them because, it just is what it is, in this society, being a woman. So you have to kind of be stern and let them know, like, look, I know what I'm talking about. This is your best bet. This is what we're going to do. Because I had to learn that too, because people would try to tell me what they wanted to do or what they read or they believe. And, so I had to become firm in that too, as an authority figure.
Yeah, probably like the rules of engagement are always good, making sure clients know, okay, here's how we work. These are the rules of engagement for me and for you. And this is the way we're going to work together. So that's always a good thing. And let me ask you this: what's like one thing that you want everybody to know about you that we haven't talked about yet?
Professional or just in general?
I don't know. You answer it.
I don't know. I used to hate those like about me questions. Come
on now. I don't know.
I'm really okay. So people think that lawyers aren't, personable, or they're kind of like stick in the mud, and that's just not me. I'm very approachable. Okay. I'm very nice. I talk to my clients like regular people. I don't talk to them in legalese. I don't talk down to them. I make sure that they have the knowledge of what the situation that they're in and what we can do and how they get out of it. And I'm very much so able to work with them, whether it's working with them, financially, or it's working with them to get them to understand the situation that they're in and the seriousness of it. Because sometimes they, don't understand how serious it is. So I think that that's one thing that people should know, that, I'm very much so approachable and jovial, and I,
Yeah.
like to joke and do and I people regular ways, even though until I tell them that I'm a lawyer, because
Yeah.
that's tend to be just my personality.
All right. All right. Well, I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate speaking with you. I'm so happy that you were able to schedule me and have me on your show.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. All right, everybody. We'll see you real soon. Chris Mullins with Lawyers Tell All. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Lawyers Tell All, where Chris Mullins takes you on a journey with lawyers in the trenches who show you the realities of what it takes to succeed in this chaotic, crowded, ever-changing profession. Remember to visit our website at www.lawyerstellall.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on Lawyers Tell All.